Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Drag Ros podcast, where we just talk about whatever the hell we want. Two brothers chilling, doing whatever. Um, so why'd we start a podcast?
I guess we just thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it, really.
Yeah.
Just randomly
I mean,
like,
we did. I mean, we did watch a lot of like Save Long Nose and I Ballistic Squid. And they did a podcast, and we were probably like, "Hey, they did a podcast. We could do one too."
I guess
Which would
for
probably be one of the worst ideas we came up with, but
yeah, I guess for me it was more so the fact like podcasts have always been kind of a cool thing for me. I was like,
oh
huh,
yeah,
this seems like a cool idea. So just decided why not?
why
Um,
not? Yeah,
so, here we are doing a podcast. Um, I have like, so the way this is all set up too, I'm looking like to the left, or well, on the screen it's to the right. And that's just because I have it pulled up on my second monitor, making sure everything looks good. But I have the main monitor, like with you on it, in front of me, and I'm just like, well, this is scuffed as hell. It really, like,
let's go.
but like, this really is like, I guess I don't know. It was just like a random idea we came up with, and all of a sudden we're like, okay, let's run with it. Why not?
Yeah,
I mean, there
I mean
was,
we,
hmm?
I mean we did have an entire list of collab commentary ideas.
some
We
of
would just pull from those.
some of those were terrible though. Like, what was it?
Yeah.
What was one of them? Like running the economy on penis enlargement pills.
Yeah.
Like, what was
No, but
that?
hey, we could probably get like 30 minutes of content out of that.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it was weird as hell, but probably.
That would require a lot of like research into how economies work and like what would create a stable economy.
It would be an interesting idea though, for sure. Because
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this whole podcast really is just like us talking about whatever the hell we want to. Just two
Yeah.
brothers chilling out. One's in the other room, one's right here. Like, couldn't ask for a more perfect setup. Like, I could walk in there and beat the ever living shit out of you if I wanted to.
Please don't.
I have to move my camera over now a little bit too. Wait, did I move it the wrong way? Okay, no, I moved it the right way. I'm so cool. Because I'm trying to lean back in a little bit and talk, but like, I was over here like off camera like this, like, it was so bad.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I have my camera on for you, which I probably should do. Let me just
I,
do that. All right, whatever. Um, but it was so weird. I was just like over here off camera, just minding my own business.
business. Yeah.
Um,
And I feel like in future episodes we should just like do something in the background for sure,
oh yeah, for sure.
just to keep
Just to
and kind of
keep
make this like
engagement.
oh yeah,
Like Minecraft for sure would be a good one. And I want to like
oh yeah,
I know it's not really like a podcast thing, but like doing something kind of like the bonus points where we have like a
oh yeah.
like just testing out random games or having you play games that I play all the time. Like we could do something on Valorant. Like this doesn't just have to be a podcast. It can just be kind of like a collab channel. I just got blue Gatorade all
Well,
over my hand. Well, that
hmm,
sucks.
yeah, but like I was thinking kind of more in the sense of Magic Gamble podcast, where like they had it as like a visual, and then you had the podcast right over top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, especially on that, we could probably just kind of ramble
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
give us something to work on, something to mess with. We can do a bunch of errands if we wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I think it could work regardless.
Yeah. So, what kind of games you been into lately?
I've been mainly playing more new Fortnite season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Uh,
The Fort.
Fort- I
Go ahead.
figure, I figure like before I switch to the realm,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait out this season because I want to play through that season first.
Mm-hmm.
Because the next season is gonna last more than a month, so I can wait a little bit on that one, and I can
Yeah.
focus all my attention to the realm.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
haven't tried. I don't want to try balancing the boats with work and everything else like that. Plus, I got my own content I gotta take care of too.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm at right now too. The Fortnite season with the whole new like well, I say new, but the OG map coming back and all that,
Oh
like
yeah,
it really made me want to play the game at least for a little bit again to experience like what good stuff I had back then. So for sure being like able to like go back, do that, and then go back to my realm, that's for sure something I want to do. Like I've had more of
oh
a
yeah.
drive to play Fortnite lately than I have really any other game, even Valorant. Like I'll load up for practice for Valorant, and I really don't feel like playing even for my school, like even for our team. We recently just got a win too, which is like whatever. I felt like more so playing Fortnite rather than playing the game.
Oh yeah, but also on your team, isn't that like a lot of people aren't taking that as seriously as you are,
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
that might play a big role into it.
Yeah. So the way I think most of them are taking it is something just fun to do after school, which I mean, that's what it is. But
Yeah,
I'm a very competitive person. So being able to do something like I can win a game, go to like state championships or something, and I could get recognized for like my abilities. And then even with that, I could get like signed to a pro team later on because of it. That sounds
or
like my dream. So,
like you take it seriously enough. And that sounds good on a college scholarship or something. You
mhm,
could add join their teams and whatnot.
yeah.
I mean, I know a VTuber by the name of Melrose. Her boyfriend Guinea, he plays Rocket League
Hmm.
for his college. That's kind of where I thought that idea was coming from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely like sounds great to do. Like being a content creator sounds amazing, but at the same time I would love to be like I would love to compete. I know it sounds cringe as hell, but hearing people like I win like a clutch or something like that and all of a sudden you're hearing people chant your like gamer tag over and over, that sounds like the most
Uh,
epic shit ever.
oh yeah, for sure. Especially if like we do something like MCC or something,
Hmm.
or even a Valorant championship, FNCS. That
Yeah.
would be pretty cool. I
Like
think if any of us are gonna get into a championship either way, I think Bus is probably gonna land in FCC if anything else.
I'd love to be able
It's
to
only getting better.
I'd love to be able to compete in Minecraft, but I know for a
Yeah.
fact I'm not that like I'm good at Minecraft for sure. Like I'm fairly decent at PvP. I won't lie. But I'm not good enough to be able to like make it like super big. I would get absolutely like steamrolled by some random like content creators. I'm not plus most of them play Java, I play Bedrock. I just have a fast clicking speed. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I know how to like
And
I know movement in Minecraft better than like anything else. Really, in Bedrock, all it comes down to is like movement compared to like the other person. If you can use like if you're playing the Hive and you have snowballs, you can send them to a stratosphere. If you're like whereas compared to Java, it's more so you have to time your clicks, you have to time your jumps, you have to time your shield, you have to time everything. It's all just a timing
oh
game.
yeah,
And
oh yeah.
Bedrock, it's more like
That's what
fast paced.
that's what I noticed watching a lot of your clips, and that's why like when I was deleting some of your clips, I was looking for ones that really seemed to be the most repetitive ones that you
Yeah.
kept getting, and I was like, well, that's real repetitive. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna keep the ones I really like.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that seem that repetitive.
See, the thing with like getting clips on Bedrock too is it really just comes down to if you can get someone in a combo. For those who don't know, getting a combo is like hitting someone multiple times and they can't hit you. It's basically just like a
Yeah,
combo in any other game. Um, but getting like a combo is like the best way to get a clip, just sending someone in the air because then like it just looks better. You time it with like some good music or something like that and you're chilling. That and clutches are like the main two things for Bedrock PvP videos. And really,
mm.
I'll be honest, after doing like what, 3, 4 montages at this point, 5 if you include the one I did for 10 games, like it gets repetitive to try and edit
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff. Like you're just
oh
looking
yeah,
through the clips and it's like, haven't I done this before? Like you get major deja vu. It is so bad.
oh yeah,
Like there are times I will just be like looking at my clips that I have and I'm just like, this is trash, but it's like one of the only things I can put into the video.
yeah.
So And it kind of gets that way with like Fortnite as well. Like, Fortnite, you'll be like boxing someone and then you hit them with a one pump and boom, there's your clip. But you do that so many times, it's just like, okay, well, I've done this 20 other times. No one wants to see this a whole bunch. And I think
Yeah,
that if I look at like my analytics for my different like montages, I'll definitely be able to tell that the views on them have gone down, and that's not because of the over editing I did on them, because I did over edit, but that was just to compensate for the amount of like the amount of repetitive clips there were in that.
yeah.
It was really bad just trying to get clips for that.
Well, I think on like Fortnite, everybody's trying to get a clip. Everybody's trying to do
Hmm.
that. And on top of that, you're pretty much just trying to play a game and think get something cool done. Everybody else is finding metas. Like recently, I was hearing more about like since the double barrel shotgun's back, people are combining that with a grapple glove, and now that you get a clip there. But if everybody does that or tries to accomplish that, it kind of brings the less clippiness I get us out of that entire meta,
Yeah, it
and
makes
that's
it it makes it way less like
it
interesting
more
to
skill.
watch.
Yeah, and it takes the skill out of it.
Hmm.
Sure, once you pull it off, it's one thing, but like I'm not one to want to pick up a grapple glove, and I barely pick up a double barrel shotgun. I'll be 100%
The
honest with
double
you on that
barrel
one.
is so bad. I was streaming with it last night, and I picked it up like, over a tack too, like a green tack, and I was fighting this kid, and I would have won the fight too if it wasn't for the double barrel because I had to reload mid fight and the kid got the better of me. Spectated the kid throughout the game. He ended up dying. It was sad. He kept the double barrel though, so respect to him for that. But
Yeah,
like stuff like that, I'm having like more fun spectating Fortnite than I am really playing it at this point. I don't know. It's more so the like I don't have to sweat and I get to watch the sweat. Whereas like they are having fun doing what they want, and I get to have fun like watching them like do the clippy stuff and all that. Even in zero builds, it's so bad. Like you watch some kid get beamed out of the sky, and you're like, "Well, I'm next." It
but that's why I
is,
just always land to like I usually stay at one location and then I'll rotate around. I have
yeah.
like a set path,
Mm-hmm.
or if I can, unless the zone is completely separate, then I kind of just continue on that one path and take out
Yeah.
people, pick and choose my fights. But to
Mm-hmm.
be fair, like if I land retail or I land pleasant, barely anybody's landing there. I'm
Yeah.
I'm basically your sweat repellent.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I've been landing a lot of tilted lately. Tilted has been really fun to try and like go to, just because like you have every sweat and their grandma going there, and it is so bad, like genuinely so bad. Like you'll be fighting one kid, and all of a sudden some other kid joins the fight, and it's like Sweat Gamer 2249 has joined the battle. Like okay, well here we fucking go again. It's
speaking of
so.
like
Mhm.
speaking of like tilted and whatnot, on the Fortnite OG, has there been any like POIs that you used to land a bunch, but like when they first came out, but you don't really land them there anymore?
Oh, Salty Springs for sure. I used to land Salty all the time back in the day, but now I just like it doesn't feel worth it to go there anymore. And Tilted's the opposite. I never landed Tilted, but then Tilted comes back and I'm landing there like almost every game now. It really
Oh
just
yeah,
shows the change in playstyle that I've had. I used to be more like I guess passive, and now I'm a lot more like aggressive and
aggressive.
I want to take the fights even if I will lose them.
Well, like even then, since when you first started, you definitely have improved your stat,
Oh yeah, for
your
sure.
skill. So like when you first landed salty, you're not gonna be able to handle 50 guys and their grandma over there in Tilted. Now
Yeah.
you can take 50 guys and their grandma over there in Tilted.
I mean, I
And
don't
so
I mean, I don't want to take 50 guys.
I mean you can.
That doesn't sound very like appealing. Maybe their grandmas, the gilfs gotta.
God damn it! You did not just say that.
I think you finally understood what I was talking about once I mentioned the grandmas.
Oh god damn it.
It is.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
but my answer to that in chapter three was like my first time with Greasy because I think it may have been gone at the time I started playing chapter one.
Oh
But
yeah, it was covered in ice.
oh yeah, but like I used to land Greasy a lot, that and Tilted, and I'm barely landing those two. I'm just glad my pleasance back. I mean, I could really get care less for retail, but
Yeah.
I still land there sometimes. And I do try to land the Lazy Links because I want to contend for the crown of King Lazy Links. But barely anybody lands there for goddamn. Like nobody lands there enough for me to try to get that crown. At that point, I might as well try to get King Tilted. Come on,
So
Paradise. There's barely anybody, and the
so
volcano's gone.
let's talk about Minecraft actually, because
All right, yeah.
similarly to Mine or Fortnite bringing back OG, the OG map, has Minecraft just felt like not worth it to play to you anymore at this point?
Uh, Besides like the flagship Dragon's Fin the Realm, it kind of does feel that way to an extent. But it also feels like every time they bring something, or like I was barely even paid attention to Minecraft Live this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of learned everything secondhand, especially from you, like who won the mob vote and everything else. I kind of wish the Penguin won. I'll be 100% honest with you.
It would have
But
been hilarious.
yeah, because like we've been building penguins. Like I've been building my penguins in Minecraft for God knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
Finally get a chance to put them actually in the game, and nobody votes them. Come on. If I mean, I will admit this desert did kind of need some new wildlife, but so does the tundra. Come on, but uh, it feels like everything that they brought out, like they're bringing trial chambers out now,
Yeah.
and like I barely even knew that was a thing, and I'm not. I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm not really that big looking into those.
Yeah.
It feels like I have to learn those, learn where they're at. I feel like the only thing recently that's like made, oh yeah, I should probably look for that, has been like the cherry trees
Mm-hmm.
or maybe even mangrove because I like how that looks, but like I don't really pay attention to it that much. And I
I
think I was God,
I think the last time I was genuinely excited for an update, besides like the Warden, because everyone was excited for the Warden. I think the last time I was genuinely excited for an update was another update. Mostly because it was coming out on my birthday.
oh yeah, it's true, yeah. I think what I think the major disappointment in the Case and Cliffs update was the fact it had to be split into three separate parts. Like I get when it first got split, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to break too much on the people. I get that,
Yeah.
especially with the COVID-19 pandemic and all that. I understand that part, but I don't understand why you had the split like the deep dark and the ancient city and the warden into a completely separate, unrelated update.
Yeah.
And
It
then
didn't
the
make
last
much
update,
sense.
and the latest update, I barely really pay attention to it. I'll be 100% honest. I
Yeah.
noticed a couple things, and I like the frogs and chest boats. Those came in handy. I'll be 100% honest with you. Those came in the 360 edition. You know how much more building projects I'd be doing on the water?
Mm-hmm.
Because like most of my building projects on 360 were involved in water of some sort. I built ship. I built another ship. I built a base that was focused on the water. That would have made that 10 times easier and with more quality life improvement that I got too late. But now I can actually start abusing it more. So
I think Stampy put it a really good way when he said that like the new updates in Minecraft with like the new items and all that, you can't really use them that well besides their intended purpose.
yeah,
It really knocks out the creativity of a lot of it. Because before with like when a bunch of redstone was being added, you could like find fun ways to introduce like a whole bunch of different like mini games or whatever and make it a lot more fun. But now like let's say with the like automatic crafter item, that just has its intended purpose. You can't really make anything out of it. So really he put it probably the best way. It's a lot Minecraft is lacking its creativity. And like the trial chambers are cool and all. Like I like the fact that there's like a new kind of mob spawner where after you beat it like a few different times it disappears. I think that's really cool, but I don't think it's worth it enough to be like hunting them down like all the time to find like a new trial chamber. Like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't
Yeah,
like it doesn't bring that excitement that I had when I was like younger trying to play Minecraft.
and a lot of people are gonna say like that's nostalgia, but like a lot of this, what made Minecraft really good, like what spawned a lot of those big series that we know and love. My popular was Mob Battles, Diamond Dimensions, Stampy's Love Food World, and for pretty much like Pixelmon, all the mods that came out. That was all the creativity that was like, hey, let's try adding this to Minecraft,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll create something for it. And then now it feels like, yeah, it feels like a lot of new stuff is being added, but that creative aspect of it isn't, it's kind of going away. And Stampy definitely did put it right way. You had the brush. There was not really much you could do with that except for look for
Yeah.
do some archaeology digging, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or the foster was barely anything to do with those. I mean, a spyglass has got intended purpose. You look at things far away, but you could probably get something good out of it. And for somebody like me, I'm more creative focused. Then like, you pretty much put me into a major box, and I'm trying to think outside of it, try to create something new and exciting, or some maybe it's not exciting, but like something creative with it.
Mm-hmm.
But always got one purpose, and like if it acted on other blocks or had some different effect, I think that brush would have been pretty cool. You could add miniature paints to it, and you can make a painting game or anything else in that nature. I get like I get now you have to get farmable or a lot of those people are a lot more survival focused, but there's not really much you can do. Like back then, you had a piston that pushed a block out, and you could create so many fun stuff out of it. You could create a frog that sticks its tongue out. You could
Mm-hmm.
create, the caterpillars that drew this and the gravel out. Make a mini version of a battleship if you were that crazy. TNT cans don't work as well as they used to either, and that was probably one of my favorite things to make. Even in 360, when they updated it to update aquatic, half my TNT cans don't even work, or they'll blow up on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then those TNT launchers,
You have to get
they don't
lucky
even
with them.
work.
You have to get
You have to
lucky
get
with
lucky with them.
those.
Yeah,
I have to build them a certain way now, and it's so weird.
yeah. So you can't really like mess with them or create different versions of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like trial chambers, you got one key. Sure, it might be great for adventure maps if we actually figure out what it does, but yeah, if it is related to that trial chamber, why am I, a creative person, gonna go wanting to look for a trial chamber?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Minecraft
It's
really
just,
is just lacking that creativity aspect it used to have. It has like the survival and all that that it used to, but they're just adding more survival stuff and like that's why a lot of people I think want the end update because it'll bring a whole bunch more like blocks, it'll bring more mobs, it'll bring more like creative stuff to the game. Whereas and it did that with the Nether update. That's why a lot of people really like the Nether update because the amount of like different blocks and stuff too. I mean, granted, the
well,
Nether is like hell, but
well, on top of that, I think Nether and the end definitely were, but the Nether at the time was definitely needing a complete overhaul. You
mhm.
really just had, and the new biomes and whatnot makes navigation for somebody who really sucks at Nether navigation 10 times easier.
Yeah, you got the
I can go,
familiarity
okay,
with certain areas.
yeah, and then I can go, well, that's not where I need to be going because I don't remember this on my path,
Hmm.
and I can kind of backtrack that way instead of trying to place a bunch of torches or a bunch of blocks. Go, am I going the right way, or is this a way that I had like 5 minutes ago and I'm just backtracking?
Yeah.
And then like the end, you're basing that in space. You can have based off of the planets. You can make creative new planets. It's got more or less just one type of dungeon besides the main end island.
Yeah.
You could add more there. You can make ice blocks. You make frozen end. I was thinking at one point to add like skeletons kind of in the end. make that one thing that crosses all three dimensions.
Yeah.
It'd be like one that combine an Enderman with a skeleton. It would
That's
also be a pain in the ass to fight, but like
they should
you try to
totally
shoot it
yeah. They should totally
and
bring the
it just
stray.
disappear.
They should bring the stray to the end. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Like there's not ice in there, but it makes sense to add something because at the end I would assume it would just be cold. So,
Well, on top of that, if you add like different biomes to it, I
mhm.
mean we've got Mercury. That's probably the hottest planet closest to the sun, probably besides like Venus.
Yeah.
And you could have elemental variants there, elemental versions of Enderman if you're crazy enough for that, or like brand new mobs, brand new dungeons that you really gotta really look into it. And go, oh, okay, how do I solve this thing?
To be able to like bring the creativity back to Minecraft, they either need to update one of the current like biomes to add more like blocks and more like items, or they need to add a whole new dimension. I know Minecraft said they weren't planning on doing that, but at this point I think it's needed. They're adding
Oh
so
yeah,
much stuff to the overworld, but the overworld's just cramped. Like you need to add some like a whole new dimension at this point. Like you literally hired the guy who made the Aether. Like put the Aether in Minecraft.
yeah. Put the Aether in Minecraft, make it so we can clickbait upon clickbait. You know, on top of that, I'm being straight up honest with you. I love the fact that they're adding stuff to the overworld, but it feels especially like you updated Nether and you barely doing squat with that. The end's pretty much been vacant since 1.9. You know,
Mm-hmm.
almost at one said 1.19, but like, man,
Yeah,
that would have been a great time to do that.
it really would
But
have. Yeah.
oh well, yeah, just making like 10 updates part. But like, you're messing with, have barely messed with that ever since that got updated.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if it's just slight stuff, it may have actually made things 10 times easier. Or create a miniature mob that does kind of like the Strider, but for the end, you can just kind of fight in between end islands,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just kind of beneficial for you to use both,
Yeah. They need to add.
especially
They really
especially
need
if you
to
want the
add.
Electro.
Yeah. They need to add some sort of like. I think Redstone needs more stuff as well. Like
Yeah,
maybe add something like a motor or something like that. Like not to where you can make cars or something like that, but you
I mean
can
you can technically already create those.
but like something to where you could probably make like an actual giant moving boat or something like that, which I think would make the game like super cool to be able to do. Like the shipwrecks, being able to repair those and turning them into like an actual like boat you can do. You could reenact the
Yeah.
Titanic, stuff like that. Like
Oh God.
I already know that would go to shit, but you get my point. Just being able to
Well,
reenact
like,
a whole bunch
oh,
of stuff could probably.
like when you're like on the Titanic thing. You know, if they add a motor, someone's gonna try to recreate 9/11 with it. It create like an actual flying plane with it. We're gonna have to seriously outlaw
Okay, maybe motors aren't the greatest idea. Or may to be fair, a 911 probably already has been made in Minecraft, but
that. That's, that's gotta be a thing.
I know Owen has he's made a I know your ass is looking that shit up right now. I know you're doing that. I know you're doing that. But I know
I gotta look.
Owen ended up recreating 911 in build battle on the Hive one time. I unfortunately I was on his team, so I had to just kind of sit there and watch. But it
Someone has created it.
see what I tell you. I knew it was a thing.
And if you add the motor, it's gonna be 10 times worse.
All right, just make sure planes never get added to the game.
Someone's gonna try doing that with Fortnite with the planes coming back. I swear to God. If they
I
haven't
I I'm
already done
pretty sure someone already has. I am
that. Oh God.
90% sure someone already has.
Uh,
I know someone's already recreated JFK's assassination. It was bad. It's funny, but it was bad. Oh man.
this is why we shouldn't try recreating historical events in games.
Sure enough, if they add like sure enough, Minecraft eventually they'll get to the point. All right, we added nuclear waste. All right, time to recreate the atomic bomb.
Oppenheimer, but in Minecraft. I mean, there was already a mod like that, so.
I mean, yeah,
But
there's already nuke mods. I'm sure someone already recreated Hiroshima and
Nagasaki
Nagasaki.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh boy.
that is so bad. Stuff like that is just bad.
I'm starting to think I know why they haven't added a lot of that, but
I think the bottom line though is nostalgia isn't always the reason games are getting boring. It's the games have just gotten stale. Like even for like the more casual player base. Like I
yeah.
I grinded the hell out of Minecraft. I will be honest. I grinded that
Oh
game
yeah.
way too much. But even after I got done grinding it, like I was just like I can't even play survival anymore. Like it wasn't the PvP that burnt me out. It was just the game itself. I
Yeah.
tried playing regular mini games and it's just like the only mini game I can like get behind anymore is really murder mystery. Like trying to do videos on like Sky Wars or trying to do them on like Treasure Wars or something like that. It doesn't feel the same.
Oh yeah.
It,
Yeah. I'm gonna add to that point where like the games kind of feel a little stale, even for the casual base.
mm-hmm,
That's why I stopped playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom. You beat the game so many times, and you're just kind of like, all right, go to the dungeon, so
mm-hmm.
I can try to speed running it. I'm not gonna be like that crazy son of a bitch that tried a what 100% completion, no damage run. Took the slightest bit of damage, had to restart the entire run. Took him like 31 days to finally beat it.
That
I'm
sounds
not gonna.
that sounds like a personal hell.
That was for him, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm not even gonna try and clutch all 1,000 Koroks just for the sake of completing 1,000 pieces of Korok shit. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. But like, you can build only you can only build so much with what the game gives you,
Mm-hmm.
and before everything tries to disappear and whatnot. And with them, Nintendo taking out the duping glitch on pretty much everything, because everybody keeps discovering a new duping glitch, and Nintendo was like, no, no duping glitch. Tried to patching it out. There's only so much you're able to do, so much you're able to play with. And I think even as like I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, current Minecraft is and current Fortnite, and I'm not talking like OG on that. I don't know much about Valorant on this point because I have more your expertise, but like they've kind of seemed a little bit more stale compared to the stuff where the creativity used to shine.
So regarding Valorant, it's kind of the same thing. To be fair, there's only so much you can do with the 5v5 tactical, plant bomb shooter type thing. Um
Yeah,
but it really like so the agents they're not game changing enough to be able to like incorporate them into the meta for like ranked or whatever. Like Deadlock, um ISO's the most recent one. He's fun. But Deadlock, the one before ISO, she was so bad she wasn't played a single time in VCT. That's including like VCT Americas, EMEA, and Pacific, and including Masters and well, she wasn't out in Americas and all that. She came out at the end of Masters Tokyo, but she wasn't played a single time at Champions, which is the biggest tournament. And that's like even characters like Reyna, who are like the biggest like solo carry agents, they were played at least like once. That's how you know an agent like really needs a nerf or a buff is if they're not being played at all, or if they're being if they're
or
being
they're
played
like
too much.
everybody's first pick.
Yeah, like the comps are getting like when the chamber meta was a thing, he would incorporate everyone to have to learn how to play around the chamber. You could have like a jet and a chamber, or you could have just a chamber for a map. And that made the game so much more interesting because you had to plan around the chamber and the chamber player on the other team and how they like to play the chamber. So,
Yeah,
like, if you have
so
a.
you had to get good with him, and then you had to learn how to play around him.
Mhm.
And on
And
top of that, if he's on the other team, you need to figure out. Okay, it makes you really want to study one agent, what their moveset, what their abilities look like, what do you want to avoid at all costs with them, everything.
And
And it doesn't look
when
like that's the case with anybody else. So.
when the team Loud came up with the Viper Harbor meta, um, every other team who tried to fight them on it just couldn't like compete. The Viper Harbor meta it got boring after a while because it's so strong, but when it was first introduced, it was very entertaining to watch because you had teams struggle to figure out how to go against it. Um, in fact, they even 13-0'd the world champions who won 2023 Worlds, Evil Geniuses, which more on that later, like the Evil Geniuses as an org, which I'll probably get to in like a few minutes after I finish this sentence, but like finding different like agents and different ways to use agents in the like competitive pool really makes like Valorant fun. Whereas with like, other agents like Yoru, he's one of my favorite characters, but he was only played a few times, which it makes sense. He's not like a like team agent. He's more of like a lurk and then teleport back to the team. So it makes sense. But if
It's kind of more like a intel.
he's like
a, you go out there and
yeah.
you find out where everybody's at and go tell everybody.
Yeah, he's like a self-sufficient fragger, but he can go back to the team and like he's like a worse chamber, but also a better chamber in other like areas. And then of course Chamber is still like he's bad, but he's also still strong if you can play him right. But Evil Geniuses. So they started like bottom of the barrel in VCT Americas, right? Like they were the worst team. Getting like they were about your average team. People thought they were like they were like tier 2. They were like, how did these guys get into tier 1 franchising? And so they play through VCT Americas a little bit, and then they bench the player BCJ, who he was pretty good. So people were like, why is BCJ getting benched? And they bring out this other like duelist that no one has ever heard of before, named Demon 1. Now, Demon 1, he tried out for the team Disguised, which, if you know Disguised Toast, he started a Valorant team, and he was going to have Demon 1 on the team, actually. But Evil Genius has scrimmed against Disguised with Demon 1 on there, and Demon 1 dropped like 40 kills against Evil Geniuses. So EG's like, hey, we're a bigger team, we're tier 1, we'll offer you a better contract. So of course, if you're Demon 1, like even if you like Disguise, you're gonna go for EG just because they have the better contract, and you probably get more out of it. You get a better like name recognition, all that sort of stuff. Plus, you're dropping 40 on them. They probably need your help to begin with. So first few games with Demon 1 don't really go like according to plan, but you can tell he has potential. Once they get their role straightened out, this team is going crazy. And I mean insane. Demon 1 is popping off. Boostio, their IGL, perfect calling. Like their Sova player on Ascent, Calm, he is like probably top 5 Sova in the world right now. And so they make it to Masters Tokyo after like a rough qualifier there. Because they were doing really bad in Americas. Like the only way they could qualify is if one of the team's 100 Thieves got beat by MIBR, which that wasn't very likely at all, but MIBR somehow pulled it off, and not only pulled it off, but beat 100 Thieves with a sub who was their assistant coach or something like that, and they knifed someone who was on the bomb on 100 Thieves. So Evil Geniuses gets to go to Tokyo, gets to compete in Masters, and they go on a run. Like, they make it top 2 in Masters, only losing to the best team, Fnatic. And they're like, I bet this wasn't a fluke. We're going to carry this momentum into Champions. So they take a little break. They come back to America, prepare for Champs. Everyone's in LA, ready to go. And Fnatic has to fight Loud, who at the beginning of the season and beginning of franchising, because at the beginning of franchising, they did a whole tournament called a lock-in, which put every team in a single elimination bracket. So if you lost once, you're going home. They put them in a single elim bracket, and Fnatic came out on top, beating Loud in it was like 11-3 comeback, something like that. on the final map too. There's like a five maps in grand finals, which was insane. One of the best moments in Valorant history, hands down. Well, Loud and Fnatic have to fight each other in the like opening, like they make it through the like group stages, and they have to fight each other first match of like the final like 16. Loud took Lock-in personally because they absolutely wiped the floor with Fnatic. Like it wasn't close games or anything like that. They wiped the floor with them. It wasn't like total decimation, but they made sure Fnatic were not like beating them. So Fnatic goes down.
It's like they're like, yeah, we got beat by you once. We're not getting beat a second time.
Yeah, and the best part about Loud too.
You're not beating this.
Best part about Loud too is they are playing with two like rookie players. And that the lock-in tournament was like their first tournament with the two rookies. So it was impressive they got second to begin with, almost winning the whole thing. But they come back with those same rookie players, decimate Fnatic, send them to the lower bracket, and move on. E.g., they're like, Fnatic beat us, so we have a chance to win the whole thing. But there's another team, Paper Rex, who, you know, they have their player named something, who is like definitely like top. Yeah, it's a great name. Definitely top 5 like fraggers in the world too.
Something beat us.
There's another player in China called Nobody. Nobody's on A. What? You said nobody? Yeah, the player. But
I'm gonna have to watch more Power Hunters.
It's great. But so let's see, where was I? Paper X something. They are also in Tokyo. They didn't have something, and they came like top 3, I think. Only losing to EG out of second place, and they did that with a content creator Gecko One Trick sub, which is insane. And they beat NRG, which was like people were expecting NRG to make top 3. They made top 4. Whatever. NRG got knocked out by Billy Gaming, who no one expected to 2-0 them twice, which was tough. Rest in peace, NRG. The entire roster pretty much dispersed after that. But
like, yeah,
if you lose,
we got beat.
If you lose to an org called Billy Gaming, like at that point, just end it. Just end the entire roster. No offense to Billy, but like, so anyway, Paper X, they finally have something back on their main roster for champs. Something got his visa issues fixed. He's in America, ready to win the whole thing. Paper X also had someone on their team named Jing, who is probably like the best Raze player in the world. Who it was his final tournament before he had to do mandatory military service. So they were really trying to win champs for Jing. And so EG's like, look, we've had a whole Cinderella story going up until this point. We get Jing, it's his last tournament, but we want to win too. So the big like 4 are Fnatic, Loud, EG, and Paper X. Those are the 4 people we're debating on winning. So Fnatic already in the lower bracket. They're like, all right, whatever. We can beat every other team that's in the lower bracket. So they go on a run, make it, through the lower bracket. Everyone else, like, they're going through. They beat one of my favorite teams, EDG, which is a China team who has probably the best operator player in the world, Kong. Like, this guy does not fucking miss at all. And it's great. Like, if you get a chance, look up Kong operator. This kid does not miss. And he's like 19 or something like that. And he's like already a star. But anyway.
He's already not missing shots 19. What the hell have I been doing in my life? I should have been playing Valorant, bro.
But, so Fnatic go on a run in the lower brackets. They make it to a certain spot. EG versus Loud happens. So, actually, no, that's not the point we're at yet. So, the point we're at right now is Evil Geniuses versus Paper X. This puts the winner. I've been rambling so much. It's been like pretty much 10 minutes of Valorant. But, so EG versus Paper X. Winner goes to grand finals. So, basically, at this point, EG Paper X, it's like a best of three, I think. And
Yeah.
EG lose the best of three because they made quite a few mistakes. Paper X goes on to grand finals, and Loud loses some like game or something like that. I forgot who they lose to, but they go down to fight Fnatic again. We can tell where this is going. Fnatic lose. Loud took the 11-3 comeback personally and said, "Pack your bags, you're going back to Europe." And there's a whole joke going on that EU has like a zero team region. So once Fnatic started winning, they're like EU's a 1 team region. Fnatic lose, they're like EU's a 0 team region again. But anyway, Loud moves on to the. I think it was Loud versus EG or something like that. No, it was Loud versus. I don't know, Loud versus Paper X or something. I forgot. I think it was Paper X, but they move on. All of a sudden, they're in the lower bracket finals. Like I said, EG, Paper X, EG lose. They go down to lower bracket finals. Best of 5 game, Loud versus EG. Winner moves on to grand finals. Back and forth all the time. Aspas, who is like top Jet player in the world, arguably, versus Demon One, who another, this guy at the end of the tournament had a 40% headshot percentage, which it's hard enough to get that in a regular game, but keeping that consistency throughout an entire tournament is insane. So those two are going at it, and then eventually EG beats Loud, moves on to Grands, and Grand Finals, Paper X, EG, winner wins the entire tournament. EG, after, 4 maps, which it's a best of 5, by the way, they win 3 out of the 4, send Paper X home, and Jing doesn't get his win, unfortunately. Hopefully we see him back after his military service. But it's...
I'd like to see this guy plays, because this guy sounds like he'd be a good player.
He really was. He really was. But EG won the entire thing. Now, you would think, hey, they won. Great for them. Good for them. Players happy, all that. Well, like a week or two later, it comes out that the EG champions, they win a whole tournament. They are getting their pay cut. And everyone's like, what the hell? Why is this happening? Turns out they were paying their players above average to begin with. They've won a tournament. They let go of their reserve roster, which is another team of 5, and now they're docking the pay of their champions roster. So everyone's like, what the hell? You guys just won a tournament.
What the hell?
Why are you doing this? And they released the most shitty merch ever. It was just, you take an image, you slap it on a t-shirt type of merch. And
oh God. I hate that type of merch.
And no one was like, we're not buying this shit. This is terrible. I'm not going to walk out in public because I'll get bullied for wearing that. And so EG never really responded to it, but the players are they're disappointed. Worst part about it is, too, they were given an option to leave if their contract ran out. But none of their contracts were running out besides the player Boostio, who's their IGL. And the thing that sucks, too, is, Demon 1 just signed a contract with them. So now he's stuck with them. And the only way they could get out of EG is if they were bought out. Except for Boostio, whose contract ends at the start of 2024. So Boostio has a chance to go to another team.
Was this whole thing you're talking about very recently?
Yes, this is this year. This is this year.
God damn it.
Champs ended at the end of August, and this is still going on, by the way. None of the players have been confirmed playing for anyone else. So EG, they have a championship roster, but their pay is getting cut not only a little bit, their pay is getting cut in half. So imagine being you're getting paid let's say 15K a month or something like that, and then
the recipe to lose in your next several tournaments if you get anybody to play your tournament.
Yeah, let's say you're getting paid 15K a month or something like that. All of a sudden, you're chilling, you're living, you're having a great time. All of a sudden, your pay gets cut in half. You're only making 7.5K a month. And you have to adjust your life. Let's say you had a really good apartment or something that you were paying 8K a month for or something like that. And all of a sudden, you have to move out of that apartment because you don't have the money for that anymore. That's a very unrealistic situation, but it could have happened. Who knows? But like you have a championship roster, and you would think you would increase their pay to keep them on your team
Yeah,
because other people are going to be trying to buy out your players, and the players have full like freedom to go to another team if they want to, but they are in contract jail because they can't get bought out because evil geniuses are practically not letting anyone buy them because they're charging way too high of a price for them. So it's either
yeah,
you pay like 100K for a player just to go to your team and risk your organization going bankrupt, or the players just have to stay on EG and take the pay cut. They don't get an option to take the pay cut unless they get bought out. If they don't get bought out, they are stuck there. So it's really bad. People are flaming EG for it. And like we were all giant fans of EG after they won because Demon 1 is like probably the most toxic player who was in the tournament. He was like shooting bodies and all that sort of stuff, talking trash. And then all of a sudden, they win the tournament. We're like, woo, we have a new villain of Valorant. We have like a new team that people can hate but also love at the same time. And
yeah.
then,
Like a little villain, and now it's just went full blown villain.
and it's not even the players' fault too. We still love the players. We love the team. We just hate the organization because why would you
Yeah,
dock the pay of your championship players? I understand if it's a little bit, and I'm sure the players would have understood. Like, you have to let go of your reserve roster and you have to maybe dock pay a little bit. But if you're docking pay 50%, what's the point? Like, if you're not
well, there's
winning,
something going on behind the scenes, or they're trying to do that on purpose. But if you don't, those guys don't get bought out, you just lost half your guys.
yeah, like I was saying, the hard part for them too is they can't get bought out because EG's charging such a high price for them. So the players are just stuck on EG and they are being forced to take the pay cut unless they get bought out by, the next Valorant champ season, which starts next year in like January or February, one of the two. So unless they get bought out by that time, the rosters have to be
They've only
locked
got
in.
about they've only yeah they're going to only have about a month, 2 months
Yeah.
that they're going to try to get bought out,
So
and that's the time everybody's focusing on the next season. So
And the thing that sucks for them too is rosters are already being finalized. So Boostio, he's gonna be lucky if he gets put on a team because of the fact being, his contract ends in 2024. There could be people like Energy, they haven't like signed a full roster yet. They could be waiting for Boostio to get out of contract jail to be able to sign him. EG will then have to find a whole new IGL. And who knows if the chemistry will work well between them and the new IGL. The calls could be bad or something like that. So it
yeah,
really,
that's going to hurt you in the long run, especially if you've got a really or championship game.
yeah. And like NRG is getting a championship IGL. Like it really, it's just a whole like clusterfuck of like terrible things happening. That's the best way to put it. Like
Yeah,
it's so bad. Hopefully EG gets like their like shit straightened out because I really would hate to see those players like miserable taking the pay cut because of it. Like they have lives. You can't just like force the pay cut on them. You have to talk to them about it first. Be like, "Hey guys,
yeah.
we're gonna have to like dock some of your pay. It'll have to be like around 50%. If you want to explore other options, you are more than willing to. We will still have a place for you here." That is the best way to deal with that because otherwise you're just forcing them to take a pay cut that they have no other choice. And if you're not letting them be bought out or you're charging super high prices for them, then they're just stuck with you. And I think that's what EG is trying to do. They're keeping their championship roster that way they can win more tournaments. But the issue with that is just you're paying them way less. They're not going to be as motivated too. They might
They're
just
not
throw.
going to care enough to win the tournament, and you're keeping them there so you can win the tournament.
They
They're
might.
going to
They might
simply
just
try
throw.
to lose a bunch. They're going to go up against the worst team. You're going to expect them to win. They're going to actively try to lose against that next team.
Yeah, they could just throw on purpose, and all of them get thrown out, and then all of like
Which, one, is bad for the team, bad for morale of the team, bad for your reputation because of everything that's just happened. And like, I'm down for underdogs and measure the next guy, but if guys are supposed to be really good on this big team, go up against one of the worst teams in the bracket and they lose,
You'll be able to tell.
you'll be able to tell. And on top of that, that particular tournament is going to have a lot of controversy surrounding it because of what you've done with that team.
The thing is, too, if you don't...
Kentucky Derby did something similar not that long ago,
Mhm.
and the winner of it literally just used a bunch of steroids in their horses, which was against the rules.
Mhm.
So now that person is pretty much barred from ever entering again.
The thing is,
You
too...
might have similar happen.
Thing is, too, is with Valorant games, if you don't make the Masters tournaments, you are completely, like, in an off-season until Champions. Until, like, LCQ, last chance qualifier. You are in, like, an off-season. You have to perfect your craft. If you don't make, like, if you don't make Masters, you're not competing for money. You're not doing anything. You have to find, like, some way to make some cash. And if you don't qualify for champs, there's a decent chance roster changes will be made and you could get let go. So,
yeah.
like, there's teams like Sentinels where that's a rare case where it didn't happen. They were doing most of their roster changes throughout the entire regular season. The LCQ happens, they absolutely smoke 100 Thieves. And then they lose their next game because, they're trying to practice with a new roster and all that. But now they have a full, like, new IGL, and they're looking pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think this might be a good stopping point. We're about an hour in. Could always talk about more of this stuff in a future episode dedicated entirely to Valorant.
I think like the next time like the Masters tournament comes around, we should definitely dedicate an entire episode just to like talking about it, and that would definitely be time for two of us to sit down and just watch the thing. Because like I've like seen bits and pieces of it, but I've learned more from you rambling about it than I probably would if I just watched some random YouTube video about it. And if we both do that prior to a podcast episode, we can pretty much break it down for somebody who barely doesn't even know what's going on.
Yeah, I really am hoping EG gets their players and, like, either their players get, like, a better contract where they get more pay, or they get, like, some sort of, like...
get their shit together.
Yeah, better contract, or they get, like, a whole new team. Because it is such a good team, they have such great vibes, and they're such great players. I'd hate to see them have to suffer like that.
And then, like, the fans of it, they're not going to want to support that team if they know what's going on. Everybody pretty much already knows what's going on. So that's more of a financial risk that team's taking.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's paying off.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the podcast. Be sure to, like, subscribe for more episodes. Let us know your comments down below if this is, like, more than likely this is scuffed because I had to set this up like 5 minutes before we even recorded. But yeah, for sure, let me know what you think of the podcast down below. And we're going to try...
much better. Like, we're going to have an idea of what we're going to do next time. And
yeah,
not just start us off with, here's why we started the podcast, and then go to like 10 plus minutes of our commentary.
But yeah, for sure we'll be trying to do an episode at least once a week, if not once every 2 weeks, and then yeah, we'll just get these out like as they come. Minimal editing, if any. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this, podcast, and we will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.
Look.
What the? Okay.